Detailed review of Disney's Snow White 2025. Director, Mark Webb. The Amazing Spider-Man, 500 Days of Summer. Writers, Greta Gerwig, Aaron Cressida Wilson. Main cast, Rachel Zegler as Snow White, Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen, Andrew Burnap as Jonathan. New male lead. Disney's Snow White 2025 is the latest live-action reimagining of one of its most beloved classics. However, the film has sparked significant controversy and received mixed to negative reactions due to its drastic changes from the 1937 animated original. Plot summary and key changes. Unlike the traditional Snow White, which followed a young princess escaping the wrath of her jealous stepmother with the help of 7 dwarfs, this 2025 version presents a much different take. Snow White's characterization, instead of portraying her as a gentle, kind-hearted princess who dreams of love, the film depicts her as an aspiring leader who wants to rule her kingdom. Jonathan, new male lead. Instead of Prince Charming or the classic huntsman, this film introduces a new male character named Jonathan, played by Andrew Burnap. He serves as Snow White's companion rather than a romantic interest. The dwarfs controversy. Disney opted to replace the 7 dwarfs with 7 magical creatures, created using CGI, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes. This change has been highly controversial, particularly within the disability community. Evil Queen's motivations. While the original Evil Queen was obsessed with beauty and vanity, this version expands her motivations. Though some critics argue this makes her less menacing, the story revolves around Snow White escaping her stepmother's attempts to eliminate her. But rather than finding refuge in a cottage with the dwarfs, she embarks on a journey to reclaim her kingdom. Performances and acting. Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Zegler delivers a solid vocal performance, showcasing her Broadway-style singing ability. However, her portrayal of Snow White has been divisive. Heavy checkmark. Pros. Her performance is confident and modern, breaking away from the traditional damsel in distress trope. She brings emotional depth to the role, especially in her scenes of self-discovery. Heavy multiplication. Cons. Many feel her version of Snow White lacks the charm and innocence that made the original beloved. Some viewers were put off by interviews where she seemed dismissive of the original film, which affected audience reception. Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen. Gadot's portrayal of the Evil Queen is visually striking, but reactions are mixed. Heavy checkmark. Pros. She embodies the regal, commanding presence of the character. Her costuming and makeup are some of the film's highlights. Heavy multiplication. Cons. Her performance has been described as lacking menace and depth, making her feel less threatening. Some critics argue that her softer motivation weakens the Queen's villainous presence. Andrew Burnap as Jonathan. Burnap's character is new to the story, and his role as Snow White's companion rather than a love interest is a departure from tradition. Heavy checkmark. Pros. He provides light comedic relief in certain scenes. Heavy multiplication. Cons. His character lacks development and fails to leave a lasting impact. Many fans feel the exclusion of Prince Charming diminishes the fairy tale romance element. Cinematography and visual effects. CGI dwarfs controversy. The decision to replace the traditional dwarfs with CGI creatures has been met with widespread backlash. The CGI is described as uncanny and distracting, making the creatures feel lifeless. Production design: the film maintains a visually rich aesthetic, with extravagant sets and colorful costumes. Dark, realistic tone: unlike the whimsical atmosphere of the 1937 classic, this version has a more serious, grounded tone. Music and soundtrack: new songs: Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, The Greatest Showman, La La Land, composed new songs, but they have been criticized for lacking the timeless appeal of the original's music. Missing classics: the removal of Someday My Prince Will Come and Hi Ho has disappointed many fans. Criticism and backlash: 1. Major story changes: many fans feel that removing the dwarfs and changing the romance element has stripped away the heart of Snow White. The story focuses more on female empowerment, but at the cost of the classic fairy tale magic. 2. Casting and pre-release controversy: Rachel Zegler's interviews before the film's release, where she made dismissive comments about the original Snow White, created negative buzz. The backlash was further fueled by the decision to replace the traditional dwarfs. 3. Pacing and writing issues: the script feels uneven, with long stretches of dialogue-heavy moments that slow the film down. The humor is described as flat, failing to capture the charm of previous Disney live-action films like Aladdin, 2019. Audience and critical reception: Rotten Tomatoes score, mixed reviews, with critics praising its visuals but critiquing its story. General audience reception: many lifelong Disney fans feel alienated by the drastic changes, while younger audiences seem to appreciate the modern take. Box office expectations: the film has underperformed compared to previous Disney live-action remakes. Final verdict: 2.5/5 stars. Heavy checkmark. Pros: strong visual aesthetics and costumes. Rachel Zegler's vocal performance attempt at a modernized message. Heavy multiplication. Cons: too many changes from the original story. CGI dwarfs feel out of place. Weak villain and missing emotional depth. Should you watch it? Yes, if you enjoy Disney's recent trend of modernized princess stories. No, if you're a fan of the original and prefer a faithful adaptation. Final thoughts: Disney's Snow White, 2025, is a bold reimagining, but it struggles to capture the magic of the original. While it aims to present a modernized message, its execution leaves much to be desired. Fans of classic Disney may find this remake disappointing, while those open to a new interpretation may appreciate its themes of self-empowerment.